Well, welcome to the social space. It's been a couple of weeks since we've been on. We always take a little bit of a break to regroup and wanted to bring on some new faces as well. We are so excited for Eric Crossland, who's gone to work for Town Square Media. So we'll get to continue to work with him, and we wish him so much the best of luck. And as we're going into this Christmas season, we'd love to welcome Chris Horgan. Chris, thank you for joining us. Now, you're going to be joining us permanently.
Yeah, I'm going to be here for as long as you let me.
I think we're going to keep it. So tell the audience a little bit about what you do today.
Sure. I'm now the Public Information Officer for the City of Wichita Falls. Been doing it for just over a year. Can you believe it? It's gone so fast.
I know.
So fast. But of course, a lot of people know me because for 30 years I was on News Channel 6.
Yeah.
Doing the news and the sports. So TV has been nice to me, I guess, is the best way to go. But new chapter, lots of fun. We're going to have a great time here. And we're so happy, Jackie, that the city gets to be a big part of social space now.
It's going to be great. Our last segment of the show will be the city space, and we'll always bring some information on what's going on with the city. And sitting to my left is Katie. Katie works for Team Hager, Katie Starkey. Yes. She's one of our incredible graphic designers, and she's sitting in for Andrew, who is out for this show. But you'll see and hear that laughter pretty soon. But our first guest, we're really excited, is Ron Kitchens. Ron, we're going to get to you in just a few minutes because we've got to thank our incredible sponsors. Where would we be without News Channel 6? As you know, this show runs every Sunday evening, 10:30, 10:35, or as soon as Sunday night programming ends. Those football games kind of go long every once in a while. You know that.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, we are so pleased that we have a partnership with News Talk Radio on 1290, in which you can listen to the audio version of the show at 10 o'clock on Saturday mornings. Falls Truck Center and Impact Signs, Sean and Tanya Choate. And we have a premier sponsor, 4 Stars Auto Ranch, based out of Henrietta, Texas. A fun fact about them, did you know that 4 Stars not only is in Henrietta, but they have the 4 Stars Ford in Jacksboro.
Wow.
They have 4 Stars Toyota in Altus, Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. And many times people don't even go there because they deliver right to your front door. It's
what?
cool.
It's 12 stars now.
Yeah, we should.
Count them up. 12 stars. They tripled the stars.
Well, they're an amazing company that we get to work with all the time. But Chris, I'm going to throw it your way, and let's get this party started.
We'll get going. You mentioned we have a great guest with us today, and we're going to keep him.
Oh, is he coming later?
Well, he's been seatbelted in the chair, so he can't leave. Ron Kitchens, brand new. 2 weeks in town, and this has been a great pleasure for the city to have. But tell us about you. Tell us about how you got to Wichita Falls in the Chamber.
So I am from a little teeny town between Springfield, Missouri and Branson, Missouri, a town of Ozark. 112 kids in my graduating class. It's a little bigger today, but it was a small town. Went to college to play football, got my knee blown out in the first week, and my life plans changed. I was born just about as poor as you can be born in America in the Ozark Mountains. And so, I had to figure out a different plan. So I went into business. Lucky enough, I had some mentors who helped me, and we went into the convenience store business, ended up with a small chain of convenience stores, and realized one day at age 20 that none of my friends could come home. And so I didn't know who was to blame or what to do, but I ran for city council and won. After 3 years under the Missouri system, I was elected the mayor pro tem, so the president of the council. So I'm 23 or 24 then.
Wow.
And found economic development and realized what I was doing on retail was interesting, and I was employing a lot of people. And as I said, I grew up very poor. Neither of my parents attended high school. My father was illiterate, suffered from the same form of dyslexia that I have, but it was never addressed. And so my mom is 15 years older than I am. My father's 16. My dad was killed when he was 20 in an accident because he couldn't read the sign that said, "Don't do this." And so at work, it cost him his life. So I knew growing up that the people who had what I wanted all had one thing in common. Their families had jobs. Where my family waited for a government check to come on the 3rd of every month, their families had jobs. And so between being lonely, because none of my friends could come home, and I was going to school part-time, a class here and a class there while running fairly large business, I realized what I really care about is jobs. So there's fewer moms like mine with 2 kids, and running from the rent. I attended 13 different schools before the 6th grade.
Wow.
And so I believe and have fostered this belief that the greatest force for change is a job. It erases the past. You no longer define yourself by poverty or where you came from. You have a new opportunity. You got a little money in your pocket. You have some freedom. But it changes your mindset after a few years. You begin to talk about the future. You begin to talk about college. You begin to talk about home ownership. You begin to talk about giving charitably back. A job changes everything. And so from that point, at 23, I've dedicated my life to helping companies and communities create more and better jobs.
Gosh,
amazing.
that's an amazing
Wow.
story. How did Wichita Falls entice you?
So I had a great run. I worked for a couple of different smaller communities in Missouri, and then I went to Corpus Christi because every kid from the Midwest wants to go to the beach. And so I worked at Corpus, was the founding CEO of the Economic Development Corporation there, which continues to thrive. And we were there about 5 years, almost 6 years. And my wife was like, come October, it was her birthday, and she said, you know what, I want 4 seasons. I want to see, I want leaves that change colors. So I had come up with a philosophy called community capitalism. And it's the the most pompous thing I'll say here is in my last book, well, that was my first book. So I wrote a book on it called Community Capitalism. And it's the idea that every place can grow, but it takes government, philanthropy, and the business community to come together, because no one group has enough resources for a community to thrive. You just can't do it unless those 3 come together. I came up with a strategy that I wanted for economic development to focus on small business and startups. And so Kalamazoo, Michigan, we talked to them about the idea of putting together a private equity venture fund to start new companies. We raised $85 million to invest in small businesses to grow in the community. And then, so I ran the traditional economic development side as well as this venture side, wildly successful. It's done
That's great.
famously. But then we also began to own and operate our own companies. So within the Economic Development Corporation, everything from impact athletics. So if you see a college football team on the sidelines and a guy's getting stretched or taped, almost always going to be on an impact athletic table. And we built that literally inside the Economic Development
great.
Corporation.
That's amazing.
awesome.
Yeah.
But it became, after 16 years, I was the cap to other people getting promoted. And so we had a great team. We built a strategy for me to exit out, and over about a year, and bring in new team members.
Well,
so
you've got
that
a
they
big
could
job
get
here.
promoted.
Yeah.
Because Lynn and I had decided we wanted to be in Texas. And but I had 2 friends who had worked for the chamber in the past. And one of them recently and one of them a decade ago. And both of them were raving fans, not of the community, but of the people. And that's a different thing. You can travel all over the country and people will tell you how great a place is.
That is, yeah.
But they almost never tell you how great the people are.
Yeah.
Well, what we're
Right.
excited about, we're going to go ahead and wrap up this first segment because we're going to keep you the second segment because we got to find out where is your heart and your head as we navigate into 2023.
Heck yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Stay with us, everybody. He's seatbelted in. You're not going
I'm
anywhere.
not going anywhere.
With 2 generations of experience, this is what we do. We make sure your waste material is recycled the right way. Bring us your old batteries, that junk car, and yeah, even that old washer and dryer. We are the leaders in scrap metal recycling. We are Bell Processing.
New arrivals coming in every week at 4 Stars Auto Ranch. You get more for your trade and award-winning satisfaction from 4 Stars Auto Ranch.
Experience commitment here at 4 Stars Auto.
Summer always seems like it'll last forever. Until it doesn't. Yeah, I guess it's that time of year again. Don't be caught off guard. Get ahead of the problem. Let James Lane make sure your unit's ready for 90 one day and 30 the next. Be ready for anything and everything with James Lane Air Conditioning and Plumbing. When you need us, we're there.
Welcome back, everybody. Social Space. We are having fun. Segment 2. Jackie's here. Katie's here. Ron Kitchens is here. Our CEO, brand new. We just got him out of the box for the Chamber of Commerce in Wichita Falls. And again, we're thrilled to death to have you.
Awesome.
All right. Tell us a little bit about some of the current projects that you and the Chamber are working on.
So I think we've got a lot going on. Companies expanding. The amount of opportunity is a little overwhelming right now as we see companies slow walking a little bit because they don't know what the federal policy is. But we've got a lot of great companies that want to expand, both new companies to the area as well as existing companies. And then, we've got, at this point, we haven't hired anybody yet, so we have 4 significant senior openings. So we're building a great team and growing and developing people. It's an incredibly exciting time.
Awesome. So these current projects, we want to know, how are these going to roll into 2023, and what are your goals for next year?
Our goals are always going to be more and better jobs, whether that's a small business that's adding a half a person and we can assist them, or a company adding hundreds or thousands of new jobs. So we, as we see the national economy change a little bit, we're actually seeing a number of international companies that are here and considering us. We've got a couple of international companies that are here. They're working on major expansions. We'll break ground with real bulldozers on a couple of big projects after the first of the year. So it's stay tuned. It's going to be a great year.
Awesome. That's so exciting to hear, honestly.
It is. I've got a twofold question as we wrap up segment 2. Number 1, tell us why it's important for every business to consider joining their chamber, and what's the ROI of that investment?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Zig Ziglar, the famous Texan, used to always say you can have anything you want in this world if you help enough other people get what they want. So I want you to join the chamber as a selfish act. I want you to join the chamber because it's going to help your business grow. I want you to help the chamber because it's going to help your property values grow. I want you to join the chamber because more and better jobs mean more and better schools. It means lower costs of government. It means more money in the treasury of your churches. Join the chamber because it makes a better community, it makes a better place, but it makes a better life for you.
The offices are right there on the bottom floor. In
First
downtown.
floor. We don't want to be on the bottom. We're on the first floor.
That's where it all starts. That's
That's a good way to think. First floor. I think that's showing that the doors are always open and we're accessible for anyone to walk in. How do you plan on making yourself accessible to the entrepreneurs, business owners, and the citizens of Wichita Falls?
So it's a great question. January and February, I'm hosting a series of lunches and breakfasts for members, past members, community leaders, people that just want to have an opinion. If you want to come, call me. I'll get you on the invite list. We're doing, I think, 35 of these.
Wow.
There'll be 10, 15 people at each one. because people need a voice, and I need to know first, what did we do wrong in the past? Let me apologize for that, and we'll get that off the table. Now, what do we need to do in the future to grow small business, to grow, in particular, businesses that are women and minority owned? We're under the national and state averages on those. So we know that's low-hanging fruit. But who's your brother-in-law that may be running a plant to working at a company outside of the area that I need to go see and talk to about coming here? Economic development is a team sport, and we only win if we win together. So come join us, and we'll prove to you that it's a new world.
Put me in, Coach. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I know.
I'm ready to play. Let's go, man. Fired up. It's bowl season's coming up.
Yeah,
Christmas right around the
absolutely.
corner. It's about to,
I know
you
Christmas is next week.
It is next week.
Yeah.
So what would be your biggest gift for the city of Wichita Falls from Santa, Ron?
Santa would give us about 5,000 more workers.
Yes. Yes.
Because the 3.5% unemployment, makes us a better option than a lot of places in the state. But the more people we have looking for jobs, the more jobs we're going to have.
Well, I think we owe you a great big thank you for choosing Wichita Falls. And
Yeah.
I can tell you, I think it's great that you're making yourself accessible to the public. Don't you agree?
Oh, yeah.
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 It's so important.
Well, we want you to come back on the show when things are
Anytime you ask.
happening and let us know, all of the good things, the brick walls we hit, how do we navigate around them, and how do we keep progressing forward?
Always forward.
We're excited about it. All right, when we come back, segment 3 will be something new for you that has to do with this little logo right here. So stay right with us. We'll be right back.
Medicare can be confusing. That's why it's important to have a locally born and raised expert to help you understand all your options. I'm Colby Bustacco, and I'm ready to serve you. Medicare changes every year, and that's why it's important to review the changes annually. I understand that everyone's needs are different. That's why I work hard to tailor a plan specifically for you, your family, and your lifestyle. That's the Bustacco way, more personal, more thoughtful, and more trusted.
Summer always seems like it'll last forever. Until it doesn't. Yeah, I guess it's that time of year again. Don't be caught off guard. Get ahead of the problem. Let James Lane make sure your unit's ready for 90 one day and 30 the next. Be ready for anything and everything with James Lane Air Conditioning and Plumbing. When you need us, we're there.
New arrivals coming in every week at 4 Stars Auto Ranch. You get more for your trade and award-winning satisfaction from 4 Stars Auto Ranch.
Experience commitment here at 4 Stars Auto.
It's been said that you can save enough energy to power a TV for an entire day by recycling just one aluminum can. We're just doing our part. With 2 generations of experience, this is what we do. We make sure your waste material is recycled the right way. We start the day early and only quit when the job is done. Bring us your old batteries, that junk car, and yeah, even that old washer and dryer. We are the leaders in scrap metal recycling. We are Bell Processing.
4 incredible radio stations. That's who we are. We are Town Square Media, and we bring the best of radio to the North Texas area. Wake up early with News Talk 1290. That's us. How about Kelly Raspberry on 92.9 NIN? Yep, that's us. Bringing you the best of country with 102.3 The Bull. That's us. And rocking it all day long with 106.3 The Buzz. That's us. We are Town Square Media, and we're proud to be a sponsor of the Social Space.
Welcome back to the Social Space. It is now the City Space.
That's right.
For just a moment. Jackie, Katie, I'm Chris Horgan. Well, I'm Chris. We'll just go with that. You know, I used to teach young reporters to say their first and last name when they started. Because you wanted that first and last name. So a little marketing tip for everybody. When you're introduced to a new community, first and last name. Then you can go first name.
Well, I'm kind of excited about how we're revamping this third segment of the
I am
show.
too.
So tell us your version of what we're doing in this third segment.
This third segment's going to be, we're going to call it the City Space. And we're going to basically take kind of what we talked about with our guests and find a way to meld it into some city news. That's what we're doing today, because Ron Kitchens and the Chamber and the city work very closely together.
Right.
And so that's what we're going to talk about with that today. But in the future, we'll talk about all kinds of stuff: trash schedule, the drought. We got all. I got a pocket full of fun information we can share to just get the news out about the city.
Well, I think you need to remind the public exactly what your job responsibility is with the city.
Shoo, everybody wants to know. So what do you do now?
Yeah.
All right, I'm the public information officer. So essentially, I take care of the information that comes out of the city, whether it be on social media, whether it be information we share with the news, whether it goes on the website. Those are my three things: it's the media, the website, and social media.
Okay.
And so I handle media requests. I have two great staff members who take care of the website and social media. But if we filter it down and decide how we're going to take this piece of information and disseminate it, what's the best way, what's the most people we're going to reach. So how important is it? Does it need a press release? Is it something, even internally I'm doing information there as well. So it's not just public information. I do a lot of internal work within the city as far as getting information out to employees and whatever else we need. So I'm a flow of info is what,
A flow.
Is what I would say.
Well, speaking of, first of all, it's the week before Christmas.
It is.
And everyone's going to always be interested in where to bring their Christmas tree, what does the trash situation look like. But outside of those little thoughts, what's the hot things that are happening in the city at the moment?
Well, we're getting ready to end the year, so that's a big deal. The fiscal year just ended, so we got through budget, which is always budget with the city. I've learned is like an 8-month process. So there's only a few months out of the year we're not actually working on the budget because there's a lot to it, and it's taxpayer dollars, and we have to be very careful with how we spend it, and we want to account for every penny, and we want to be balanced. And so that is a huge undertaking when you're talking about millions, tens of millions of dollars that are being allocated, spent. What's our revenue coming in? The financial bean counter people are amazing because it is an extremely difficult and just methodical thing they have to do. So as we approach the end of the year, City Council just this last City Council approved all the overflow, if you will, from last year's budget that wasn't spent. So projects that weren't completed that flew into the next year still have to be approved by City Council, and they did it one big package. There were a lot of them this year, and one City Councilor did ask why are there so many, and a lot of it had to do with chain. It's the supply chain. It's getting products. It's getting vendors getting the things they need to complete the project. So there were millions of dollars of projects that rolled over, at least budget-wise. It'll still come out of last year's budget, still be spent, won't add to any money, but they have to say, here's what's carrying over into next year.
Okay, got it.
So that just happened. But yeah, the budget, Jackie, I learned is just an incredible process when you're dealing with that. And I can't imagine it on a state level or a federal level. I just can't imagine how much work they have to do. It's constant. It is just constant watching that budget and making sure that you're being good stewards of the tax dollars.
So today is, December 18th.
Yes,
so
it is.
a week from today is Christmas.
Man.
I know. So people are going to be wondering, what do they do with their Christmas tree?
Right.
So give us a little information on how you navigate that.
Okay, now if you have a fake Christmas tree, you take all the stuff off and put it back in the box and put it in the attic or the garage, right?
Did you get that, Katie?
But if you bought a real one,
Yeah.
you don't want don't throw it away. Don't just throw it in the trash can. It's not going to do any good there because it's just going to go off. And maybe they might separate it at the transfer station, but there's an easier way to do it. Lucy Park, Kiwanis Park, Two
Okay.
great places to go because you can drop off that live Christmas tree. Take the decorations off. We don't want tinsel and lights and stuff still on it. Strip it down, get it back to its old rare form of life, and then take it to Lucy Park or take it to Kiwanis Park, or you can take it to the transfer station, but you'll just have, there's no special place to drop it off. You'll just drop it off inside like you would if you were dumping debris or anything else, and they'll separate it and get it out and put it where it goes. But those Christmas trees go to make mulch for parks.
I never even knew that
Yeah.
we even had that kind of thing going in Wichita Falls.
We
but
recycle those bad boys.
yeah.
Well, Chris, it's great having you on this first show,
Thank
and it's
you.
going to be really informative on this last set to have the city space.
It's going to be fun.
We always invite our guests, if you ever want to be on the show or if you have information or question, you can always email us at hello@teamhager.com. You can find out what's going on, but it's been great to have you on this first
Well,
show.
thanks. I'm excited.
Yes.
We're going to have a blast. We're going to have
Yeah.
a lot of fun, and we're going to just get some great information out. I'm really thrilled to be here.
Well, Merry Christmas to everyone. We'll see
Yeah.
you next Sunday on Christmas Day.
Yay!